What's going on, wrestling family? Welcome back to the channel. It is time for another series of This Wrestler Cannot Be Trusted. The last time I did these videos, the suspect was Dakota Kai, but this time around, I gotta tell you guys, Finn Balor cannot be trusted. I really believe that a lot of stuff that's happening with the Judgment Day right now are all a part of his elaborate plan. And in fact, I think that he has a little bit of help to execute this entire thing. Now, before I get into the details, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Also, understand, this is just a theory. Let's get into it. So right around the corner, we have a PLE called Clash at the Castle. And at that event, we have a World Heavyweight Championship match between Damien Priest and Drew McIntyre. Now, 95% of the wrestling fan base believes that Damien Priest will lose his title at that event. Now, what does this have to do with Finn Balor and his elaborate plan? Well, I honestly believe that Finn Balor wants to ensure that Damien Priest loses his title at that match. And I think he's going to influence the outcome of that match, whether he comes out to try to help Damien Priest and cost him the title, or maybe comes out and tries to help and Damien Priest says, hey, we don't need you out here. He gets distracted long enough, and then that will cost him the title. And I think at the moment, it's going to look like it's by accident, but we're going to find out down the line that Finn Balor actually did this on purpose. So why would he do this on purpose? Let's take a walk down memory lane. So I don't know if you guys remember, but on the May 20th episode of Monday Night Raw, JD McDonough and Finn Balor were preparing to go into this tag match against the Awesome Truth for those tag team titles. And as everyone was leaving backstage to head towards the ring, Finn Balor stayed behind to speak to Damien Priest one-on-one. And this is what he said to him.
I can't help but think I wish it was me and you out there tonight. But I get it. You're the champ now.
Now, I know what most of you guys are thinking. This could just be something innocent. It's just Finn Balor expressing to his friend that he missed the good old days when they used to be tag teaming together, when they were tag team champions, when the bromance was at an all-time high, when they were together everywhere you looked. And it could just be as innocent as that. But we cannot ignore what he said at the end when he said, but you're champion. And I get it. And that lets us know that although Finn Balor does miss how the good old days are, he understands that as long as Damien Priest has the World Heavyweight Championship, it can no longer be that. And ever since Damien Priest got that title, he's been looking at Finn Balor a little different because he's taking his role as leader. And as long as he has that title and as long as he's leader, him and Finn Balor's relationship can never be the way that it used to be. And to make matters worse, even though Finn Balor probably feels like he's getting pushed around by somebody who was on the same level as him, the title that Damien Priest has over his shoulder is that same title that Finn Balor was fiending for, like Gollum at Lord of the Rings, when he had that feud against Seth Rollins over a year ago. Speaking of over a year ago, remember at Money in the Bank 2023, Finn Balor had a World Heavyweight Championship match against Seth Rollins, who was the current champion. And towards the end of the match, Finn Balor had the upper hand, even to the point where he was on top of the turnbuckle to deliver the final coup de grace to make him the new World Heavyweight Champion. But while he was up there, here comes Damien Priest with the Money in the Bank briefcase, which distracts him long enough to where he misses the coup de grace, and Seth Rollins hits him with the curb stomp and then pins him 1, 2, 3. And ever since that happened, we saw friction between Damien Priest and Finn Balor, where Finn Balor felt like Damien Priest cost him that title.
On Saturday, you didn't stick to the plan either, did you?
I went out there to make sure you win a world title. And with my help, you lost.
Well, maybe it's because of you that I lost.
You're crowding me right now.
Well, that contract is crowding both of us.
You gotta think about it from Finn's perspective. The last time he won a heavyweight championship was in 2016 when he won the inaugural Universal Championship. Unfortunately, due to an injury with the match with Seth Rollins, he had to relinquish that title. And now last year, he had another opportunity to gain a title against the person who got him hurt originally, but then Damien Priest came in, distracted him, and cost him that situation. So it makes sense for Finn Balor to have a personal issue with Damien Priest and to want to see him lose that title. But what does this have to do with him creating chaos in the Judgment Day? What's this big elaborate plan I was talking about in the beginning of the video? Well, I think Finn Balor is behind all of this stuff in order to make Damien Priest look terrible as a leader, so then when Rhea Ripley comes back, he can throw Damien Priest under the bus and convince them to kick him out of the group. Let's think about everything, or one of the biggest things that's been happening ever since Rhea Ripley left. After she relinquished her title due to an injury because of Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio helped the same person that made her relinquish her title get that same title. Not only that, double backed and helped her retain that title, shared a kiss with her on TV, or as Pat McAfee like to call it, sucking faces on TV to further embarrass Rhea Ripley. all under the leadership of Damien Priest. And if Finn Balor ensures that Damien Priest loses that title, that's going to put Rhea Ripley over the edge, because Rhea Ripley does not want to see the Judgment Day without any title. And for Damien Priest to lose that title and all this crazy stuff to happen, then it's just going to make him look like he's the problem and make him look like Edge when Edge got kicked out of the group before. Now remember, I said that Finn Balor has this elaborate plan and he has a little bit of help to execute this plan. And I honestly think that JD McDonough is definitely helping him out with this whole thing. And I think he recruited Liv Morgan with this whole situation. Now let's think about Liv Morgan. All the videos that we've been seeing her backstage, outside, or whatever, she's always in constant communication with some male from the Judgment Day, excluding one person, and that is Damien Priest. And I don't think that's on accident. I think that's on purpose, so he don't know what's coming next. Now we've seen her in the car with Finn Balor outside in the parking lot. What were they talking about? What were they doing? I don't know. It's none of my business. But I remember in 2022, Finn Balor actually saved her from the Judgment Day. So if they want to implement that into the story of them having a past, then I guess you can do that as well. We saw that she had a conversation with JD McDonough backstage, and when Damien Priest approached JD about this, he said, "What are you doing talking to her?" He said, "I wasn't saying nothing to her, but that she wasn't going to be champion for long." Who needs to have a whole conversation about that? That doesn't make any sense. I don't buy that. But JD, just out of loyalty, I think he's helping out Finn Balor, because he's been Finn Balor's apprentice for almost 20 years. And he probably doesn't even like Damien Priest because of how he was treating him before he joined the Judgment Day. So that makes sense there. So now we're down to Dominic Mysterio, the last member that's had constant communication with Liv Morgan one way or another. Again, it's none of my business. But at the end of the day, what we saw on Monday Night Raw, I really believe it was all theatrics. I think it was all a show. I think it was something that was orchestrated between Finn Balor, Liv Morgan, and Dominic Mysterio, because when Liv Morgan was trying to seduce Dominic Mysterio, here comes Finn Balor, slides into the ring and says he doesn't want nothing to do with you. The Judgment Day wants nothing to do with you, which makes no sense, because every time we saw videos of Liv Morgan backstage, guess who she was with? Guess who was walking away from the area she was in? A member of the Judgment Day. So that makes no sense at all. I think that was all theatrics. And even when Finn Balor was telling Dominic Mysterio, you need to stay away from that girl, she's no good news, I think that was all theatrics. And even when Damien Priest came over, he was like, I already handled it. I think Finn Balor is just doing this so that when Rhea Ripley comes back, she can say, this entire time when this whole Dominic Mysterio thing was going down, Finn Balor had my back, so I don't have to worry about him. But Damien Priest, on the other end, he hasn't been as aggressive in trying to stop this whole thing from happening. And I think another thing was very interesting, and I know this was before Rhea Ripley got injured, but the fact that Dominic Mysterio was walking with Rhea Ripley, where conveniently Liv Morgan was in the perfect spot with the chair ready to frisbee at Rhea Ripley's head. How did she end up there? How did she know she was going to be there? And then Dominic Mysterio, after Rhea Ripley was getting jumped, he was gone for a minute and then ran back over there. It didn't make any sense at all. And remember when a reporter was chasing him down into the elevator and trying to ask him questions? I don't know if you guys saw that on the YouTube channel for WWE. He was trying to resist the question. So I think that Dominic Mysterio ultimately is a part of this whole thing. As crazy as it sounds, from a writer's perspective in WWE, if you want to get this guy a lot more heel heat, the only way you can do that is for him to turn on Rhea Ripley, and it's going to make Rhea Ripley one of the biggest baby faces, including Damien Priest. It's going to be one of the biggest things they can do for his career on the main roster. But to me, again, I think it's Finn Balor leading Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough, and that's probably going to be your new Judgment Day. Now, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Does this make any sense, or is this the most reach you've ever seen outside of a toothpaste factory? Let me know in the comment section. Again, this is just a theory. Thank you guys so much for watching. Salute, peace, have a good day.